What's up, guys? Wait, I might have an echo here. Let me make sure. There we go. There we go. What's up, guys? Sorry, I'm actually in beautiful New Orleans right now, and so I'm in downtown New Orleans right now. So I'm doing the stream, but I'm on my gaming laptop. But yeah, definitely some movement in the market right now. Hold on, let me get my phone out so I can actually keep track of the chat while I do this. So hold on one second, guys. All right, hold on, guys. Looking for my phone. All right. Ah, man, ran into my chair. All right, guys. All right, so like I said, the cannabis stocks are definitely moving. You can see CGC, that thing's really going kind of crazy right now. Same thing with CRON. I'm sure NBEV is doing something similar, and so these are actually moving really nicely. I'm kind of frustrated because when I looked at AMD yesterday, it actually would have worked, man. It actually would have gone all the way up to that $21 one-to-one target, and so maybe it's something that I have to consider. It worked 3 days this week, um, and so it hasn't failed once this week yet. So I'm testing out the volume a little bit. All right, so everything looks to be working okay. All right, so yeah, um, CRON, AMD actually moving a lot. AMD is pretty volatile as well, but yeah, CRON, we have NBEV, which is gapping up some. CGC going crazy, probably a more volume than the other ones, from 44.21 to 46.30. RAND looks like an IPO. It's moving some as well. It's at 330. Zero. And then we have WDC, as you can see here, looks pretty good. MU, pretty volatile here as well. I'll try to write it in the chat. Hold on, let me see if it lets me. Yeah, it should. So I'll try to write my watch list in the chat, but we're getting some volatility today. That's good. What else do we have? WDC. And so yeah, my hotel in New Orleans right now actually has pretty good Wi-Fi, believe it or not. So I'm pretty happy that it's actually working. But I tested the Wi-Fi; it's pretty good. It's running at like 15 megabytes per second upload speed, which is pretty good for a hotel. What else do we have today, guys? I don't have my trade idea scanners today, but Those are the 7 stocks I'm watching. CLRO. Yeah, that one's gapping up as well. CLRO up from 183 to 228. PCG secured a $5.5 billion bank load. Crazy, man. That's a big loan, man. And look at PCG gapping back up. Who thought this one would recover? I mean, some people actually did. I remember some people saying that they weren't going to let this one fail. It was too big of a utility company. And so, man, look at that. PCG up from about $7, 7 something, all the way up to $12.63. So up about $5 now. Crazy move here. We'll see what we get with that one. Can I use trade ideas here? There is a web-based platform. I think it's much simpler than the other platform. The reason I'm not using trade ideas now is I just don't have enough room. Let me make sure my TEFS is working. Yeah, TEFS, for everybody that was worried about TradeNet, TEFS actually sent me an email yesterday, and they said that they've been having server issues, and that's why they've been a little bit late to get back with people, and maybe it's taken them a little bit to get them their accounts. But they said they were having server issues, but it should be fixed hopefully soon, and that everything's fine. But I think if you're a part of TradeNet, you would have got it as well. Here's the TradeNet platform. I could trade on it today, but I just don't like. It's nothing against them really. It's just their charting. I'm just so used to Thinkorswim, but I don't think it's a bad software. Here's their default software now, but I'm gonna use Thinkorswim here. There we go. What's up, Skynet? Awesome, brother. Hey, congrats, man. Ahmed says, I'm new to your channel. Love your simplicity. Have you made any separate video on the strategy you use? Yeah, I made a bunch of videos on all the different strategies I've used. I have one on I have multiple on the VWAP fade, a lot of them on the opening range, some on the 1 minute pullback. If I was at home, I would send you some of those links. What's up, Isaac? Hey, I'm in New Orleans right now, man. But check it out, though. My wife and I went to the casino yesterday, right? And my wife has never played poker ever. And so I was worried that she was just going to lose her buy-in, right? And we played a limit hold'em. And we won. She won, actually, believe it or not. And it was her first time playing real poker, and she won. And so we came out. We won a few $100s playing poker yesterday at the casino here in New Orleans. And so we were excited about it. Didn't really want to wake up this morning. Yeah, the sale is done, Bill. The sale's done, but you can still get 10% off. I'll try to get the link sometime soon. Yeah, Kevin, it was Harris. Yeah, no, it really was beginner's luck, right? Because like she, I started playing limit hold'em, and she had to get on the waiting list because she decided to play with me, and so I was sitting there playing, and literally my first hand was quad aces. I had ace jack, and the turn was an ace after an ace on the flop, and then the river was an ace as well, and so I literally had quad aces, doubled up almost doubled up the first hand I played. And then my wife played, and she got dealt the first hand pocket queens, and like she doesn't know any better, so it may have looked like she was trapping the person, but she was just checking it the whole way, and they thought she was weak, and so they just kept betting into her, and so she almost doubled the first hand too, and so we got really, really lucky, and then we just cashed out and rolled out. No, Jay. I don't want to say where I am, but my hotel is right down the street from Harris, and so we just walked. Yeah, man. They thought she was weak, man. She just kept checking it all the way through, and they just kept betting into her. And then I think they were kind of mad when she flopped over queens because she had completely slow played it. It was a jack high flop, and like she completely slow played it. It was great. I laughed after it happened, but I'm sure they probably were a little upset. Yeah, it was fun, man. It was fun. But yeah, we'll see what we get. Like I said, I didn't take the AMD opening range breakout yesterday. It would have worked. Like this would be the third day, so it's kind of funny. It's like last week it didn't work at all, and this week the opening range breakout is working very, very well. It looks like, and so kind of frustrating. But I did make $20 scalping. What did I scalp yesterday? I want to say it was TAL. Remember that? If you guys caught the stream yesterday, I kept talking about this fade on TAL if it could get back up to the VWAP. And so I did get in TAL right around here at the VWAP, and I sold it right down here. I made like 20 something dollars. A small gain, very small gain, but I was just taking it slow yesterday, getting ready to leave. And so small gain, but I'll take it. Oh, get out of here, Mitch. Of course, everybody's still crying in New Orleans, man. They're out for blood right now in New Orleans, dude. They are mad. I'm mad, honestly. Like as a Saints fan, I'm upset. You know, like the reason I'm upset is like, why are they hiring three refs that live in Los Angeles and that used to play for the Rams to referee the Rams Saints game? That makes no sense at all unless they want the Rams to win. You know. Like I don't care who you are. People have bias, you know, and I don't care how objective and how fair you think you are. Like people are gonna have bias, and they're gonna, even if it's subconsciously, they're gonna project that bias onto things. And so I don't know, man. AYTU two way. Let's check it out. Yeah, it's getting a little bit of a push. Small volume, but I mean it's up about 11 cents right now. It just depends on if it picks up more volume. I'm seeing more high cap stocks move. Of course, I don't have my scanners right now. Did this thing go out again? Did my TEFs go out again? No. Okay, good. Yeah, but none of them were more self evident than that no call pass interference targeting call. None of them were more self evident, and it was just the way it happened. You know, if that call would have been made, which it definitely should have, even the commissioner said that they screwed up. But if that call would have been made, we would have scored a touchdown most likely, and then if we could hold them to a field goal, we would have won. But I don't. I think it's ridiculous that people are wanting to reverse the entire decision. I think that's never going to happen, and there's no point in kind of complaining about it. So you just gotta kind of move on. But yeah, people are still pretty upset here. Listen, man, I'm blaming the Saints too. I'm not one to say it's completely the refs' fault. You know, am I kind of frustrated they made a bunch of Los Angeles refs referee the Saints game? Yeah. Am I? Do I think they should reverse it? Absolutely not. That would make a mockery of the NFL more than it already is at this point. Do I think the Rams worked hard to come back and take the game? Yeah, I do, and so I'm not trying to take that away from them. It's not really their fault, but as a Saints fan, you got a kind of bad taste in your mouth from it. Nice, Adele's. Good job. Yeah, man. MU, I mean, MU, AMD, they're both moving. I'll have to look up the news here. Let me get my phone. All right, so we can look up the news on just the microchip sector. I think that's probably going to be the news I want to see. All right, so AMD did announce that multiple organizational changes were going to be made. The changes are focusing on strengthening the company's senior leadership team and accelerating growth. And basically, I think the changes will be that one, AMD is going to start, will unify all the sales operations under Darren Graspy, which is the senior vice president and chief sales officer. He's now going to lead the global sales and go-to-market activities across all the product lines, channels, and regions. Previously, he was also responsible for worldwide sales to the PC manufacturers and channel partners. They also hired industry vet Sandeep, can't pronounce his last name, sorry, into a new position as Executive Vice President of Computing and Graphics. And then another change they made was Forrest Nord, who's the Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Data Center and Embedded Solutions Group. He is now going to be responsible for all the AMD data center products across all both CPU and GPU. They're also promoting Mark Papermaster to the Executive Vice President and CTO because of his leadership in driving tech vision and roadmap execution. So, a few I can't talk today. Probably spent too much time at the casino last night. Too many organizational changes. Sorry, man. I don't know what's wrong with me. And so AMD having some changes. We'll see if MU has its own press release or if it's just up on sympathy from AMD. All right, so I'm not really seeing much for MU. Let me see if I can find anything else. If you see something for MU, let me know. At least the side I'm looking at doesn't have too much for MU. Isaac, man, I said you were done trolling, bro. You said you were done, man. You know, you went back on your word, Isaac. No, man, I just, John O. I just went to Harris across the street here in New Orleans. Yeah, the spot is up a ton. But yeah, look at the SPY, man. SPY's actually up a pretty significant amount here. Um, you know, it may look like a normal day, but this SPY is actually gapping up. What is this, man? From 263 up to 265. So this thing's actually gapping up $2. So a pretty significant gap up here for the SPY. It's gapping up $2. That's a lot. Yeah, I'm just messing with you, Isaac. Um, but yeah, look at WDC here. I know you can see it on the right side, but WDC is moving nicely here as well. But yeah, we'll look at the cannabis stocks here. We would have Mitch here today. I know you see Mitch in the chat trolling me about the Saints, but we would have Mitch here today, but Mitch had 2 wisdom teeth taken out, and so he is not able to speak today. So everybody tell Mitch they hope he feels better and that they hope Florida's football teams continue to lose. But yeah, gonna be watching the cannabis stocks. We'll see what we get. What's up, Abby? Yeah, my wisdom teeth grew in straight, so I've never actually had to get my wisdom teeth removed or anything like that. I actually only had my first cavity when I was 27. First cavity I ever had in my life. I was kind of bummed out when it happened too. I went 27 years. Hey man, at least my bathroom breaks are consistent. You know, they're very consistent. So that's very healthy. What's up, Desert Edge? What's up, brother? Long time no see, man. What's up, dude? Yeah, I can look at NBEV as well. I mean, it's not up as much. NBEV, honestly, is one of the cannabis stocks that doesn't really follow the other ones as closely, at least from what I've seen. NBEV is a cannabis infused drink company, and so it's a little bit different than like CRON or CGC. We could also look at ACB here to see if those are moving. Like ACB is up, so yeah, it looks like they're following it too. APHA is up some, so for real, man. That's right, Kevin. Hey, man, it was super lucky. And, like, I tried to tell my wife, right? Like, my first hand was quad aces. You know, I could play thousands of hands and never get quads, right? My first hand at this casino was quad aces. I was shocked, man. I was trying to hold it together, but people kept betting into me as well. Um, and so, yeah, we got really, really lucky. It was fun, though. So PCG received a what was it, a $5 billion loan, right? So PCG received a huge loan yesterday. Here I can read the press release for PCG, but I mean, honestly, when I see a stock move up a ton in pre-market, I think I'm a little bit more like inherently short biased from it. Like I kind of want to short it. It just depends on what the stock is and what the catalyst is, and how big of a percentage move it was. You know, if it's a huge percentage move, I'm usually more short biased with it because my take is that uh, by the time it gaps up that much, it may be a little bit more extended, and so that's kind of my logic on it. But they could very easily push up as well. I just like to look for the certain setups I use and take the extension of the gap into consideration. What hate, Scott? What are you talking about, brother? Maybe I'm missing hate in chat. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna look up the press release for PCG just so we could see exactly why it's moving like this. All right, so actually, PCG actually just put out a release that said that they are not responsible for the California wildfires. I don't know if they are or not, um, but so we got a press release here that says update on PCG. Um, they were cleared of the liability in the major 2017 fire, but people still think they're going bankrupt. So yeah, a California investigator yesterday concluded that one of the major 2017 wildfires wasn't caused by PCG, but was actually caused by privately owned electrical equipment. So it says that maybe PCG's potential liabilities could be cut in half. I mean, they're still last year's. Let's see what else we get. Yeah, so the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection said that, in their opinion, PCG was not responsible for the October 2017 Tubbs fire in California. I thought somebody said it got an investor, yeah, a loan. Yeah, I don't see a loan. Maybe I'm missing that part, but from what this says, they're not responsible for the wildfires anymore. They're not responsible for one of them. They actually have last year's. There's nothing that came out about that. And so, like, what their logic is that what they were assumed to, be responsible for was cut in half. So they're still responsible, most likely, for the other fires from last year, but not the 2017 one. Yeah, I agree with kind of Chris here. He said the more recent fire was the largest state fire, and that is more so why they were filing for bankruptcy. So yeah, it's good news for them. This thing that said they're not liable for that 2017 fire, but they still have to face the backlash from last year's fire, which again, like Chris stated, was the largest state fire. Blue Mountain Capital also urges PG&E holders to replace the board. Yeah, I think people are probably just out for blood. I mean, I think it'll probably come right back down some at least, but we'll see. Got as high as almost 14.90. Abby, it's not that. I'm just in New Orleans right now, Abby. So I'm on a laptop. I don't think I have room for my trade ideas scanners. So I'll just be trading today. We'll see what we get. I gotta buy another laptop. My MacBook screen broke, and so I actually have to buy another one sometime soon. But I'm using a old Asus gaming laptop that still works pretty well. CRBP. Appreciate it, Abby. Yeah, CRBP gapped down and now it's back up some. So let's look up what's going on with the cannabis stocks here. I mean, like I said, I know a bunch of these are moving. CGC, Cron, APHA, and BEV. So like, let's look up CGC. So somebody brought up the price target for CGC. Yeah, an analyst lifts the price target. Piper Jaffray raised the price target to $60 from $40. And so just a raised price target. I think some of these will probably come back down. But let's look at some other stocks. Let's look at CRON. There's also TLRY, which is up some. It's not showing as much volume, so I want to say CGC and CRON probably have the best volume out of the cannabis stocks. What else do we have today, guys? All right, and yeah, RAND is just a recent IPO, it looks like. RAND. Let me make sure my volume's working here. Okay, yeah, my volume's working fine. What's the name? What's up, Jason? What's the name for that one? WDC. Oh yeah, I do have this one on my list. It's on my right here. We could look up RAND as well to see why that one's really moving like it is too. So apparently there was an East Asset Management deal for RAND to buy equity stake. The business development company said the East Asset Management was buying $25 million worth of its stock at a 33% premium for RAND. And this is a recent IPO. It IPO'd, when did this IPO? It IPO today? That doesn't make sense, though. Why would it IPO in pre-market? I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys, we got about 5 minutes left. Gonna watch the cannabis stocks for sure today. AMD. We'll see what we get. I'll probably look for the opening range breakout. It all depends on how big that first 5-minute candle is, though. Yesterday, it would have worked really well. You can see here, it actually got right up to that $21 level, exactly up to that level. So I would have gotten the 1-to-1 target. I don't think I would have been able to hold it that long, though. I had to leave and get on a plane yesterday at 2. And so I had to leave at my house at like noon. And so, I mean, I still would have made a profit from it, but it wouldn't be much. So I'm still happy for the most part for my decision. But yeah, originally AMD dropped all the way down to 2016, 2015, and then it pushed all the way back up to 2104. It closed at 2085, so it's gapping up 19 cents right now. Right at its highs, it gapped up 19 cents. Right now, it's only gapping up about 6 cents or so. It's at 2091 now, so we'll keep an eye on that one too. All right, well, let's do this, guys. All right, so remember, guys, just be careful. A lot of green in the market right now. Overall SPY is trending up a ton here. Like I said, it's gapping up about $2 from where it closed yesterday, so a pretty significant gap up in the SPY. We'll see if AMD follows it. Yeah, I'm not holding any of those stocks, Lance. I mean, I don't really hold stocks overnight. I'm mostly just a day trader. Let's see, anything else people see? Let's look at stockmarketwatch.com, baby. I appreciate the sub. Trading pennies. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it, man. Alright, so let's see what we get in pre-market. CLRO. Somebody else mentioned CLRO as well, but CLRO, I can't trade it, I'm sure, but CLRO gapping up from 183 to 230s. That one looks interesting. CODA, no volume. WGP, no volume. INTL, gapping up but no volume. NCNA, not really much volume for that one either. MUNI, no volume either. APTO gapping up some. BKS. Roku gapping up some. MTSL, I remember MTSL. UA. MBOT had a pretty choppy day yesterday, but it's actually gapping up from 945 to 975, so we'll keep an eye on that one too. Cron dropping some. We'll see if CGC is following it. Yeah, CGC dropping, pulling back some here. WDC still pulling up, so some interesting moves here. Some volatility. Market's not looking that bad this morning, this Friday. So, all right, guys, we got 1 minute left. Let's do this. VTVT. Yeah, that had a nice day yesterday. A bunch of VWAP bounces. Two-way. I like it two-way. Isaac gets banned. Alright, guys. 30 seconds. Probably going to watch the overall SPY, AMD, CGC, Cron, some of the cannabis stocks as well. So good luck all. These are my 4 main watches probably today, aside from the SPY. I'm probably watching CGC too. All right, here we go. Market's opening up in 10 seconds. Here comes the bell. There it is. All right, AMD pushing up here. It's at 21. We got to watch AMD's range today, especially if we're thinking about trading the opening range breakout on it. Since everything was pretty volatile, the range may be a little bit larger this morning. So with that in mind, I have to compensate the share size accordingly, depending on how big that first 5-minute range candle is. Big push up on AMD. It's up to 21, almost 21.20. Opened up at about, looks like about 2096 or 2097. WDC pushing up here. It's up to 47 right now. Nice little spike there. CGC or CRON dropping down originally at the open. We'll see what that one does. Overall market is kind of sideways, down a little bit, but mostly sideways, I would say. All right, AMD pushed up, pulling back now. SPY dropping some. And the best thing we can hope for with the opening range is that the SPY and AMD kind of follow each other. Really, it would be AMD following the SPY, and so that's kind of what we look for the closest. But yeah, WDC, big spike up here, up to 48. Sitting at 46.60s now. CRON dropping some. I'm sure the cannabis stocks are probably dropping as well. Actually, CGC is actually going up. With CRON going down, CGC is actually spiking up nicely here. I mean, CGC is up to 46.80, pulling back a little bit. But believe it or not, it's actually trading against CRON, which is pretty rare, actually. Usually CRON and CGC follow each other pretty close. NBEV kind of sideways. We could look at some of these other cannabis stocks. All right, so ACB is actually AMD is actually dropping down some, maybe following the overall market. ACB originally pushed up. All right, so for now it looks like AMD and the SPY are following each other pretty closely here. APHA starting to spike up some. Look at CGC go here, guys. CGC is really making a push here. CLRO. But yeah, the good news is that it looks like AMD and CGC, or AMD and the SPY are following each other pretty closely here. CLRO, it's down some, and it's a big percentage move down relative to like the range and the price of the stock, but it's not a huge move overall. Kind of pulling back some here. All right, but man, look at CGC go. This is probably one of the bigger moves at the open that we're getting here. I mean, this thing opened up at what, 46.50 or so, and now it's up to 47.70, 47.50 now. So it's up $1 already since the open on CGC. AMD doesn't actually look like a bad fade or rejection here. You'd have had to get in around 2096, but that one didn't look terrible. You'd have to get in there, so, but didn't look bad. Nice two-way. Good job, bro. Good work. All right, so for AMD, we got to start looking at the opening range, see what the range is of this move so far. So far, we got a, let's see. Looks like about a 35-cent range. Doubt it's going to break this high before this 5-minute candle's up in 20 seconds. But overall, it looks to be following the SPY. So yeah, it's a 40-cent range. If I take this one, it may just be with 100 shares or so on AMD. The range is just big, over 40 cents, 41 cents at this point. So maybe 100, 150 shares is what I'm looking at. I would actually rather see the SPY kind of pull back some here so AMD can kind of consolidate up there so it's not more of like a chase. But we'll see how quickly, how much the SPY drops here. It's up a lot today. In pre-market, it's up $2, so a pretty big move up, but we'll see. Let me pull the recording up so it's actually recording. There we go. So I can record this trade. Alright, so like I said, I would prefer to actually see this one AMD. I'd see it pull up some, and then hopefully if it drops now, that might be a decent entry, but we'll see. Big range, like I said, so I got to take it a little bit smaller with share size. What's PCG doing? But man, look at CGC go. You mean for a fade, Mitch? Yeah, I mean if PCG gets back up to 1240, 1260 risk doesn't look terrible on it. Alright, so there's the pullback in AMD. Still kind of sticking to that range some here. SPY pulling back to the VWAP here. We'll see what happens with it. Still a little early. Today it looks like there is cast. Today it just depends on the day, man. Some days it looks good, and sometimes some days AMD follows the SPY a little bit closer than other days. And today it looks like it's one of those days where it's following it pretty close here. This pullback on AMD is a little bit bigger than the pullback on the SPY though, so we got to keep watching that. Oh, you're in, which one are you in, Mitch? You are in AMRN. Alright, so this is kind of the moves that we have to watch out for. So the SPY is actually back down some, and AMD is still in that 5-minute range actually moving up. And so maybe they're not following as closely as you would think. AMD getting a big spike here. We'll see. I mean, the overall market is moving down. So AMD pushing up here is interesting. So yeah, I thought AMD was following the SPY pretty close, but it seems to be going a little bit against the SPY now. Like I said, AMD kind of filled that whole 5-minute range while the SPY is still right around the lows of the day. I mean, the more AMD stays in this range, the better it looks for the strategy. It just depends on if AMD can kind of stick with this range for the next 40 seconds or so, which it doesn't look like it is. It just spiked over it. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. This definitely looks like it's trading against the SPY to a certain extent. Maybe I missed out on this one. I'll wait for it to pull back some if it does, but there's the breakout of the opening range on the upside. Down to 20s. I'm going to go ahead and get in here. Long on AMD. It broke the opening range. We'll see what we get here. See if we can push back up and break that high again. If not, I got a pretty decent entry, I think, with everything considered. If I do set a risk, it probably will be down here, maybe at 21 or so. Just looking for it to hold that previous high as support now. Sure, it probably looks something like a washout long on the 1 minute, or yeah, on the 1 minute. All right, so the goal is, it's about 40 cents, right? So I got in at 20, or right around 20. So the goal is 60. Now it's at 30s. I'll let it work. See if we can keep going. The 33s. Like I said, the goal is about 31 or 21.60 now. I think it's reasonable. Like I said, about 21.60 or so is what I'm really looking for. I like the fact that it kind of confirmed this level at 21.20. And so, I mean, that's a reasonable level. If it breaks under there, I got to be pretty careful. But goal is to let it work as long as it's possible for me. The good news is that my entry was pretty good, so like I could let it work a decent amount. It's got some time here. Took small size, so if it drops under my entry, I can be pretty tight with it and just let it maybe go down to this $21 level instead of letting it go all the way down to $20.80. I don't think that's necessary for a risk. Level 2 cut all over the place. SPY dropping some here. Maybe that'll affect AMD, but AMD, like I said, wasn't really following the SPY that closely here. I think if the SPY gets abnormally weak, then maybe that's something I'll have to kind of look at. Thinkorswim level 2 is kind of acting funny. I gotta kind of use TEFs to see exactly where I'm at. Nice two-way, good work, bro. All right, so now it's just sit and wait. Just gotta look at my levels. Like I said, I think this 21 level for a risk is decent. Um, I think if it drops under that, I can have the reasonable expectation that it's going to be weaker. SPY pushing up. What's up, Ronald? Thoughts on AMD? I mean, I'm just in it with the opening range breakout with the small share size. Goal is 2160, which I don't think is unreasonable. So just looking to see if we can get up to 2160. It's got about 30 cents to go. Broke out on the upside, so just holding it patient. Just looking at my risk versus the reward I'm giving myself. I don't think it's terrible at this point. Kind of consolidating up here. But yeah, CGC pulled up a lot at the open. Let's see what the other ones are doing. AMRN ended up squeezing up. Let's see what Cron's doing. All right, we're up to 38. Got 20 more cents to go. Cron actually dropping down some, which is surprising considering how strong CGC was this morning. My ITRI is 21.25. All right, so it's up to 40. Like I said, I got about 20 cents to go. We'll see if it gets me that. Got up to 43 for a second. I saw that pop up on the level 2 for a split second. There's 42s. Look, it's strong, and the more it pushes up, the better for me. I mean, at this point, I can just kind of let it go, and if it really breaks under my entry, I can be careful with it, but if it continues pushing, I can just continue to hold the position until it stops and turns back. But up to 44 now, so really only have about 15 cents to go. The only problem with taking small share size today is if I want to scale out of it, it's going to be a little bit tougher since the share size is so small. I think it's at least going to test that 2150 level, and I think if I do take profits, I think 2150 is reasonable, and then letting the rest work for me. I think it'll probably at least test that $0.50. It's up to 44s. 45s, 46. Get one more squeeze up to 47s. Alright, I'm going to take half off there. And just let the rest work here. Got out a little bit early from my profit target, but if I was giving myself that 21 risk, then I'm not super upset about it. Trying to take it slow. I'm kind of outside my element here. I'm at a hotel in New Orleans, and so kind of outside my element. But there it goes, testing that 2150 area. And so I don't mind just taking small little scalps today and letting it work. But man, the opening range breakout this week, it's crazy. Like last week, it worked one time out of 5, and then this week it has worked almost every single day. Actually, it has worked every single day this week, I believe. And so kind of crazy how that works, but maybe I gave up on the strategy too quick. I just wish I would have taken those earlier instances of it this week, but it would have worked really well this week. I'm right across from Harris, ice cold. And so, yeah, like I said, man, AMD went right up to that 2150 level and then pulled back. And so I think that exit was reasonable. For the guy hating on me for taking small size, I mean, all this week I've been taking decent size, over 200 shares or more all week. And so if I use small size for one day while I'm at the hotel and I'm kind of outside of my element, not at my normal computer, I think that's okay. And so you can make fun of me all you want, but I got to protect my account to a certain extent. What's up, Christopher? Sorry, brother. Yeah, it's not my mic. It's just that I just got to bring the mic a little bit closer to me. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Mardi Gras does start soon. I'm trying to get out of here before Mardi Gras. Listen, man, I'm from Louisiana. I've been to Bourbon Street for Mardi Gras multiple times, and so uh, once you do it, you kind of, if you live here, you kind of know, like, hey, Mardi Gras is fun for tourists, but if you're from Louisiana, you've experienced it. I know Mardi Gras. That's right, Matthew. But yeah, ice cold, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm right across the street from Harris. I don't think I'm off of Canal Street. Man, I gotta figure it out which street I'm off of. But yeah, man, let me know. Message me on Twitter, man. At Beginner Trades. Here, I'll type it in. If you want to grab a beer or something, man. Yeah, man, I'm here for a wedding. But yeah, AMD pushing up, so I'm just kind of holding it here. Like I said, I don't mind taking small size. All this past week and last week, I took bigger sizing, and so I think one day when I'm at a hotel, I'm kind of out of my element. I'm not trying to go crazy here and ruin my weekend with a big loss. I'm just trying to take it slow. But yeah, man, AMD's been pretty successful with the opening range this weekend, or this week. It's worked almost every single day this week. All right, for sure. Yeah, I think this is like the third time I have been without my kids for more than 2 days, and so excited about it. Love my kids, but I'm excited about it. Here, just close the door if you do. All right. Now my kids aren't with me ice cold, man. My kids are at home in Texas, man, and I'm super excited about it. I love my kids, but I'm glad they're not here. You know, don't tell them I said that. All right, so now it's just about whether AMD. Like I said before, I exited this trade, right? I think it's reasonable to take profits at this 2150 level because I think that's one of the more obvious levels that this thing might reverse. And where did AMD go? AMD went right up to 2150. 29.49 to be exact, so within 1 cent, and I think that exit was reasonable. Now the next kind of progression in this stock is to see whether it's going to break 2150, hold that level of support, and then make another push up. If it can't do that, and if it gets rejected at 2150 without breaking, it might drop right down to that 2120 level, and so that's kind of the natural progression of this move here. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I got to get away from them sometimes, man. I love my kids, but it is a cool view though. Here, I'm on the 17th floor, man. Y'all should see this view. It's so cool. I'm looking over the skyline of New Orleans. Yeah, I was trying to tell somebody. PCG coming back down. What's PCG doing? Cron fading nicely there. PCG kind of choppy right now. But yeah, I was trying to tell somebody, people that aren't from Louisiana, they say New Orleans wrong. They try to be cool and they say New Orleans, but nobody here says New Orleans. There's two ways people from Louisiana say it. They say New Orleans or they say New Orleans. They don't say New Orleans. That's wrong. You don't say it that way, no matter how cool you want to sound. All right, but yeah, PCG kind of sideways here. It looked like a good fade originally at the open, but it ended up breaking over the VWAP some. Maybe would have held that risk, and now it's dropping back down. It's me and the wife. My wife's with me. I appreciate the sub. Mace, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Oh, for sure, man. I was talking about it earlier. Ice Cold. They do have it out for him, man. All right, so like I said, I can hold this thing for break even now on the rest of this. You know, if it breaks this 2120 level, I have to be careful. But like ideally for AMD, I would like to see it hold this 2120 level as support and then move up and test that 2150 level again. If it can't do that, I took profits at an okay spot, and so I can get out for break even for the most part. SPY pulling back some too. But yeah, like I said, I mean, ideally, I want to see this 2120 level hold as support, and then it move back up to test 2150. You know, I could even add right back here with the anticipation of the bounce, but we'll see. I'll give it a little bit of time. What's up, Ronald? Yeah, man, I remember you, bro. What's up, dude? Welcome back, brother. Yeah, I mean, listen, you could say it like people from New Orleans typically say it New Orleans. You know, like that's how people from New Orleans typically say it. They say New Orleans. You know, people that live in Louisiana that aren't from New Orleans typically say it New Orleans. You know, so it's a little bit different, or New Orleans. You know, but it's most definitely not New Orleans. That's not how you say it. What's up, Cameron? What's up, brother? All right, so PCG's up there. CGC ended up making this huge push today, and it's actually giving it back now. I mean, it's down to 46.30s. Opened up at about 46.40, so it's actually red on the day now, believe it or not. So CGC came all the way back down, and it's actually red on the day. So kind of a crazy move here. SPY kind of bouncing back here. Hopefully we get this VWAP bounce, and it kind of skyrockets AMD up. But I took profits at a decent enough spot to where I'm not super worried about it. The dictionary is wrong, Netron. That is most definitely wrong. Ask anybody from Louisiana how you say it. They're never going to say New Orleans. People just heard the song, Johnny Be Good, and now they want to say it like him. But that's not how you say it. It's kind of like, right, like I'm from Baton Rouge, right? And everybody always thinks, technically it is pronounced Baton Rouge, but nobody says it like that. It's just Baton Rouge, you know, that's it. PCG VWAP projection here. Didn't look terrible either. Look at PCG here. Getting up to 1233, and now it's down to 1215. We'll see what that one happens. But yeah, look at the VWAP projection here on PCG. SPY pushing back up. Should call some of A and D to push back up. But look at that VWAP projection here for PCG. Yeah, I remember that one. What happened, Mitch? Wow, I just got filled market when I clicked limit. That's rough, Mitch. That sucks, brother. But yeah, CGC giving it back, man. Let's see what the other cannabis plays are doing. Yeah, Kron's down too. What was the other ones we were looking at, though? I'm trying to think of them. All right, the SPY's testing the high of the day again. Yeah, no, my mother had a super Cajun name as well. My dad's English, or not like actually English, but English heritage. Uh, my mother's maiden name was Vaillant. Vaillant. And so super Cajun. Um, NBEV fade. Look at that fade. Pretty fade on AM or NBEV for sure. Nice move there. Look at that. Tight wrist too at 62 or so. Confirmed it. Beautiful follow through on the way back down. SPY is actually up some now. Appreciate the sub. Can't really look at it. Fonzie, thanks, brother. Appreciate it. CGC, maybe look for a VWAP rejection here if it gets up to 4680s. And so like I said, though, with AMD, ideally, I want to see it find support at 2120 and then move back up to test 2150. And so it's starting to do that. We'll see if it actually continues up here. I think a lot of it depends on what the SPY does, but what's up, Eric? Good morning, man. The left side of my screen is my TEFs, my broker that I'm using to like enter and exit the trade. The right side is just charts. Oh, Mitch, sorry, bro. I didn't see your email, man. Um, yeah, I don't know if I mean, I'm on my laptop, Mitch, so I don't know if I'll be able to like pull you up today, bro. Sorry, man. We'll get you back on when I get back on Monday. All right, so it's up to 33s on AMD, or it was. Like I said, ideally, I want to see this 2120 level hold as support, but I took profits at a good enough spot to where even if it pulls back below that, I'll still be fine. I can get out for break even. So I'm just letting AMD work. Don't mind holding it, until it breaks one of those levels. So just sticking with the plan. Yeah, I bet, Matthew. Yeah, like the most expensive options I've ever bought were like 60, $70 for an option. I don't know if I want to spend too much on it unless I'm like really, really confident in it. See what Kron and ACB are doing today. Kron, not quite a fade. Let's look at ACB. ACB had a nice rejection there. Look at that rejection here. It was perfect. Nice, Matthew. Hey, I hope it works out for you, bro. You buy put options or call options on it, Matt? All right. Well, while I'm sitting here waiting, if anybody's interested in using the broker that Mitch and I do, I know the 20% off sale for TAFs and TradeNet is done, but if you go through my link, you can still get 10% off TradeNet packages. And so if you're interested in checking out the broker that Mitch and I use, you can go to the link here and help support the channel. I make a commission from it if you do sign up through my link, but you still get 10% off, and so it's still beneficial. So if you want to help support the channel, you can go through my link. I appreciate it. But yeah, sitting here waiting on AMD. Kind of so-so here. I mean, big level to watch is at 2120 level. Looking to see if that level continues to hold. The SPY is actually pushing up some now, and so we'll see what we get with the SPY moving up. But like I said, AMD is not quite following the SPY today. SPY's pushing up. AMD's kind of sideways still, so SPY looks strong, but like I said, though, I took profits at a reasonable enough spot to where even if it does break down under my entry, I'll still be fine. Yeah, don't stress it too way. You've been killing it lately, man, so you've been doing great, bro. Like, it doesn't look terrible for a VWAP bounce here on AMD, but we'll see. SPY still pushing up strong, though. Testing 266 now. Later, two-way. Have a good day, brother. Good work today, man. I know you probably made some money, so nice work, dude. What did APHA end up doing? What was the other one I was watching? I don't have my actual scanners today, so what was the other one? There was a big one I was watching. I have to scroll up. WDC was it. WDC ended up spiking up at the open, but then gave most of it back, kind of like CGC. Interesting. I mean, if it gets up to 44.90, so you could do a risk of, I don't know, such a big range. Maybe 45.60 or so. So AMD starting to drop here. Like I said, I want to see that 2120 level hold, especially if it bounces here to confirm it, but it looks pretty weak and it may break under it here. But like I said, took profits at a reasonable enough spot that even if it breaks under my entry here, then I still have a little bit of room to hold it and let it test that 21 level to get out for mostly break even. If it gets down to 21, I might be down a few bucks on the day, but I'm not stressing too much about that. Small size, so less stress on it overall. Don't say it, Isaac. Like I said, though, I mean, if AMD finds support here and confirms it, that's even better for me, but we'll see. There's the drop. Looks like it's going to break here. Level 2's fill it up with logs, though. Let's put the big orders in to see what big orders are actually getting filled here. A lot of long big orders, but a 20,000 share order at 2120 on the short side. On the short or sell side. But the market's still pushing up, believe it or not, so we'll see. It's down to 20, 19s, 18s. Like I said, I mean, I can let it test. A reasonable place, I think, is 2104, so Yeah, I mean, there's a few benefits to options, Matthew. I mean, one of the big benefits is that, at least if you're buying options, is that your risk is limited, right? Like, the only thing you can lose is what you actually pay for the option, right? As opposed to, like, if you were, like, longing or shorting a stock, your risk is much, much bigger. And so, with options, the good thing about it is just, like I said, you have a very limited risk. You know, you can only risk what you pay for the option. And so, for that reason, I do like options. We'll see what AMD does here. Like I said, regardless of what happens, tiny loss if it does break down. Like I said yesterday, though, like one thing I am looking at with the opening range is that when this first candle is like pretty big, like for instance, this first candle had a range of 40 cents today. And when that range is much bigger, it's just harder for you to get the full profit target out of it, right? And so, like, the idea I came up with yesterday is that, like, on days like this, whenever the range is super big, instead of using that entire first candle as my risk, I can use half the first candle and still get, at least 1 to 1 with half that first move, which would have been 20 cents, which I would have definitely gotten today. And that's actually where I took first profits. And so maybe that's another way I can consider approaching it. Because, I mean, it worked today for the most part, but it ended up pulling back some as well. SPY moving back up, though. SPY's continuing to push up. Looks really strong today, actually. So maybe we'll get some more upward momentum here. But like I said, I don't mind holding this one and just letting it work. My partial profit was at a decent enough spot to where I can hold it and let it work with relatively low fear. I don't know, Paul. I mean, I've usually traded at least once a week. Um, but I would reach out to them and ask them. There's a number you can call, but I've never heard of that rule. Honestly, I don't know if whether it's true or not. The best thing to do is just to call them because I mean I trade every week regardless, um, and so uh, it's not really relevant to me. But I would reach out to them and ask them for clarification on that. ACB moving back up here now. If it gets up to 677, you could set a risk at 82 or so for a pretty tight risk here. Maybe even 84, 85 for a 7 cent risk, and then use a reward target of 660, which looks pretty good risk reward there on ACB. It just depends on whether I'm still in this AMD trade or not. If I'm still in this, I'm not going to take two trades on this small screen here, and so we'll see. But that's kind of another trade idea I'm thinking about. Is you get in at 77, you could set your risk maybe up here at this high at 82 for a 5 cent risk, maybe even up to 84 for a 7 cent risk up here. Even if it's the 7 cent risk, your reward target would be at least down to 660, so 17 cents, and so better than 2 to 1 here. And so that is something I'm looking at for ACB if it gets up there. What's up, Lucas? Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it for a fade here. It just depends on a few things. 660 is the gap fill, so if it gets up there and then pulls back, I like it, but we'll see. Got to watch AMD closely here. I mean, it's washing out. Like I said, that risk area of this high is reasonable, so if it breaks under there, we'll see what we get. see if we maybe get a bounce here. If not, no worries. Break even. Trying to think of how I did this week. So I think Monday was a red day, Tuesday was green, Wednesday was green, Thursday was green. So 1 red day, 3 green days this week for me. We'll see what today gets. So we got a little confirmation in that final exit point. Oh, right. So I only had 2 green days. Right. Monday was a holiday. So Tuesday was a red day. Wednesday was a green day. Thursday was a green day. That's how it went. Sorry, I forgot Monday was closed. All right, I'm out for a break-even day, which is kind of what I was shooting for here. Glad I took profits when I did at that first spot, and I think that 2150 area made sense. And so glad I took profits there. Was able to get out of this one for break-even. I'll take it. I'd rather have break-even than losing, so fine with that. I think I approached it and managed it in a reasonable way, even with small size. It may bounce here, but if so, I still think my exit was reasonable. All right, Missouri, good job, brother. Nice job, man. I mean, Robinhood I can trade options on, Matthew. But Tefs, no options on Tefs. All right, ACB's up here. I'm going to look at some of the other cannabis stocks first, but ACB was right up there. Let's look at Cron. Cron is right up to the VWAP too, so now it's just about whether I want ACB or Cron. I like Cron because it's got a risk of about 15 cents or so. There he goes. Now it's working. No, it's a limit order. All right, so I'm in CRON here with 100 shares. I don't hate it here. It's got a pretty tight risk. Like if you look at CRON, like I said, my risk is about 15 cents or so. Up here at 1603, really about 1605, I think is reasonable. Up here, reward target down at 1560 here. And so my risk is up here My reward is down here. And like I said, I'm just taking it slow today, guys. So forgive me for using smaller sizing, but just taking it slow at a little bit different of an environment than I'm used to on a different computer. And so with that, I got to take it slow, I think. I think Robinhood has its uses. I think they have their pros and cons, like most brokers. I mean, I think it has its uses for sure, but like, I think they also have their problems, like any broker. I use Robinhood specifically for like options more than anything because I mean they're a cheap method to buy and sell options in an easy way, and so that's usually what I use Robinhood for is options. But you know, they have their uses. They're good for if you're a brand new trader just trying to learn trading, taking small sizing. I think they're good for that. But you know, like any broker, they have their cons too. All right, so Kron pulled back a little bit here. Like I said, the risk and reward is pretty good. I mean, it's a 15-cent risk and a reward target of about 30 cents or so. So, I mean, it's 2-to-1 risk reward. You know, risk of this 1605 level, about 15 cents, reward target of 1560. So 30-cent reward target, 15-cent risk. And so pretty good risk reward. Just going to hold it to those levels, let it work some. Once this trade's done, I'll just probably be done for the day, though. I'm in New Orleans. I got to go enjoy myself some. But yeah, about whether I would call AMD a success or a fail is tough. Um, you know, it gave me about, let's see, you enter at 20. It got up to 21.50. So you got about 30 cents out of a 40-cent reward target. And so you got 3/4 of the risk reward. And like I said, if you set your risk at halfway, it would have worked. So maybe that's a way I'll approach it in the future. Yes, Lucas. It would be a VWAP fade. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm trading in now. I'm short. Looking forward to make this move down. And if not, like I said, tight risk, 15 cents, reward target of 30 cents. So good risk reward so far. That's why I took it. Just looks like good risk reward. It's got a lot of resistance above it, not only here, but here, a little bit here too. Plus, it has the whole dollar of 16 here, which may act as some resistance as well. We'll see. So I actually like the risk area because it would have to break over 16 and then hold. Wait, I'm doing something wrong here. Let me see. Let me draw that out. There we go. So yeah, we can let it like test 16, but obviously we want to see a rejection. May actually be following the SPY some as well. Yeah, I mean, with my reward target or with my risk area for AMD, I knew that 21 level was significant. It just broke down a little bit too much under it. But like I said, I was able to manage it and get out for break even. So overall, happy with how I did the trade on AMD. Took profits at the right spot and was able to hold the rest break even, which is kind of the goal as a trader, to get yourself in like that reasonable position. Cron pushing up and testing 16 here. We can let it test. Don't want to see it break. If it breaks, don't want to see it hold, obviously. Actually, maybe following the SPY some now that we kind of look at it. The SPY's pushing up. Close the door.
Alright, I got it. I mean, my hair appointment's at 10, so.
Okay. Alright, so it's testing 16 now, and like I said, we can let it test. It's got some resistance above it now, and hopefully this level holds. Nice little rejection there, but, you know, a lot of times it'll test, come back down, find support, and then push back up and test again. And so that may be what we get with it here. Whoa. Level 2's acting funny on Thinkorswim. Alright, there we go. Now that's better. But yeah, I like it really doing cron. It looked like a good fade. Is just hold it to my levels. May find some support here and make this push over. There it goes. We can let it test 1605, but if it breaks it in a significant way, we just got to jump out of it. Back down to 16. We'll see if it holds support at 16 now or if it actually breaks down under it. Broke down under it for a second, but it may bounce right back here, so we got to look at it. But it confirmed that level nicely. Makes the trade really easy once it does actually confirm that risk level of 1605. It got up to 1604. And so now it's just a super easy trade. If it pushes back up and breaks that level, then that's just my cue to get out of it. And so I actually like the fact that it confirmed it here. And like I said, it may push right back up, but makes the trade really easy. Hopefully, maybe that $16 level will turn into resistance. Is what the kind of goal is at this point that we're hoping to see. I believe flatten means like even, like it evens out the trade. I don't know though. Somebody else might know more than me about that, but I'm pretty sure it means like even. All right, so yeah, cron's actually following the SPY to a certain extent here. I mean, it's not following it exactly, obviously, but SPY pushes up, cron pushes up, so it's kind of following the SPY some. Plus ACB's coming back down. Let's see what maybe CGC is doing. CGC pushed back up too. Alright, there's a pushback under 16. Let's see if it actually holds as resistance eventually, but it's kind of consolidating up there, which is worse. But like I said, trade's super easy. It's confirmed that risk level once already. And so we'll just see here if it actually break down. Right. Okay, so yeah, Brian says flatten means to buy or sell all positions you are in at market to take you to zero. That makes sense. Appreciate the info. All right, so now the SPY's pushing up though, and so AMD's down, or Cron is down, but I think it may bounce back with the SPY's volume coming in. You can see the volume coming in on the SPY right now. It actually just broke the high of the day, and so even though Cron's right around break even for me, I think it may push up some, but we just gotta watch it. It's breaking down to right around my entry now, but with the, like I said, with the SPY pushing up like it is, Cron may follow suit here and start to push back up and test 16. But like I said, really easy trade to follow. I actually like it when it confirms that risk level. And you can see like the risk level was this top line here. And it went right up to that level, tapped it, and then came back down. So like I said earlier, now the trade's super easy. If it breaks that level, since it confirmed it once, then I can get out of the trade and, you know, without any kind of worry about it or FOMO. Because it confirmed that level. If it actually breaks the confirmed level, even if I extend this to the left, right, you can see confirmation in this level. So like even if I go sideways a little bit, you can see confirmation in that level here and here. And so very obvious level now. Easy trade to follow. Which one, Mitch? Oh, you're in Cron now with me? Using the same risk level as me? I mean, I don't know. It still could bounce off the VWAP here, and so I'm not super confident in it, but it's easy. It's easy to follow now, at least. You know, it confirmed that level once. And so just got to kind of stick with it. Hopefully it holds resistance at 16. If not, it confirmed that 1605 level very obviously, and so can just kind of stick to that now. But like I said, ideally I want to see it hold some resistance under a whole dollar of 16. Yeah, the AMD actually bounced right off of that risk level I gave myself. Unfortunately, it broke down under it a little bit, but it actually bounced really nicely off of 21. Cron making another push. Yeah, I'd be careful with reverse, like Adam says. Reverse is to enter the opposite. So, like, if you're long, it'll sell that and put you in short with the same share size. So, yeah, be careful with that. I don't know if I'd recommend reversing the position much, but it's all up to you, I guess. And like I said, if anybody is interested in using the broker that Mitch and I use, you can check out my link here and go check it out. The 20% off sale for New Year's is done, but you can still get 10% off TradeNet packages if you go through my link, and I'll post that link now. And so if you want to check out the broker that Mitch and I use, you can check out that link I just posted. I make a commission anytime anybody signs up, but it's one of the ways we always keep this live stream free right here on YouTube. And so go check it out if you have time, if you're interested in it. Like I said, the reason I really like TAPS and TradeNet is because the commissions are cheap. You know, with 100 shares, this is $3 a round trip, so $3 total in and out, and that's why I like them. I think they're good for small sizing, especially. Like I said, I'm watching CGC above it, which is in the same sector, and so depending on what CGC does, is probably going to depend on what happens with this strategy or not. Alright, so it broke over the whole dollar again. We'll see if we get another push here. But like I said, that risk level is so obvious that it's just going to be easy to follow. Hopefully we get a double top. If not, I can just jump out for a very small loss. And the reward was good, so that's why I didn't mind taking it. It's got pushed back down. It may bounce really quick right back up here, though. But it got pushed back down under the whole $1.16. Like I said, that very often these things will kind of do that, and then they'll bounce right back. And so you got to be still careful here. But watching it. Yeah, see, there's the bounce right back. Back down to 96, which is good. Kind of not necessarily a double top, but gives it a little bit more resistance above it now with this line here. I gotta figure out what I'm doing after the stream today. I'm in New Orleans. Gotta figure out something fun to do. Don't know if I want to go back to the casino or not. I think I kind of want to just quit while I'm ahead. You're in which one? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely, Bill. Yeah, we're definitely going to hit up Cafe Du Mont while we're here. Alright, so yeah, there's the bounce back that I kind of called out. Kind of was expecting it to happen to a certain extent. But now, like I said, we have two resistances, one at 1603 and one at 1605 or 1606. If it breaks the 1603 one, it may get some momentum and kind of spike back up and break this second one here. So I still have to be pretty tight with my risk here. Kind of sideways right now, though, a little choppy. SPY's push it up strong, though, testing the high of the day again. That may give it the push it needs to break this risk, but we will see. SPY actually had a nice little VWAP bounce, but there's a big push on the SPY. Broke the high of the day here. May affect the cannabis stocks, we'll see. I don't actually mind that entry, Lucas, at 2010. 2110 area looks good. So I don't hate that entry for you. Hopefully it works out, man. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, you're still up in the trade. I mean, what's your risk, Lucas? All right, so here's the squeeze up. 2103. Like I said, if that breaks, it may give it the momentum to push up and break my risk. So got to be tight. There's 1603. Yeah. 1605. Yeah, see, there it goes. I'll let it test, but gonna get out soon here if it starts to run. Alright, I'm out. So small loss on the day, about $20. Pretty small relative to everything, so no stress. About a break-even week. I had a let's see, I had a $40 gain Wednesday, $50 loss Tuesday, and then a $20 gain yesterday, $20 gain today, or $20 loss today. So about break-even week, really. But yeah, that was time for me to exit out of this AMD trade or this CRON trade. I think it was a reasonable way. Good risk reward, just didn't work out this time. But yeah, with that said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close the stream down now. I'm in New Orleans, so I'm going to go hang out, find something to do here. Don't know if I'll go back to the casino or not. We'll see. But overall, small loss on the day. I don't think the CRON trade was a bad trade idea. It looked like a VWAP fade, had good risk reward, just didn't work out. Maybe get rejected here, but I'm probably done. I'm going to go enjoy my day, guys. So, like I said, good luck for the rest of the day. Again, if anybody's interested in checking out the broker that Mitch and I use, I'll post that link here one more time. The 20% off TradeNet sale is done, but you can still get 10% off if you go through my link. I'll post that here. And yeah, guys, if you haven't already, I day trade live on stream every weekday morning starting at 8:30 market time. And so if you're interested in watching me day trade live, click that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't already, click the like button right now on this video. We do appreciate any support we can get. So if you want to click the like button, help support the channel, we definitely appreciate it if you do. And yeah, guys, have a good weekend. I'll see you all Monday back at my home station, ready to attack some strategies here. So good luck, guys. Have a nice day, and I'll see you all later.